Um, this is huge for me to do this in front of you because my friends mean everything to me, and women mean a lot to me. And I know that a lot of you know me, but from a lot of different areas of life. But some of you don't know my background. I've been a life coach for many, many years. And I've had the honor, and it is a complete honor to get to know people's souls. And I can't imagine anything better in my life. So I just feel like I've had the best career. And it led me to want to motivate and inspire women. And I decided to write a book, which I'm not a writer. I'm a storyteller. I had a story I wanted to get out there. And so I gathered a survey from 100 women on the subject of courage. And I wrote the book, 100 Hearts. So they're short stories about these women. And a lot of these women, we can relate to. And what came of this book is this talk that I'm going to talk about today, which is the courage to be the best version of yourself and living your life to your full potential. Because these women did that under very difficult situations. So that's why I wanted to tell you about this talk today is really about how you can be the best version of who you are and live your life to your full potential. So we're going to talk about standing up for who you are is really the most courageous act in the world. How many agree? Mm-hmm. And how difficult is that?
Very.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult because a lot of people don't support that in our lives, particularly women. So I'm going to give you 3 simple keys. At the end of this talk, you'll have 3 simple keys on being the best version of yourself. I'd like to start with a quote about the past, the present, and the future. Because really, our full potential is right here, right now, in this moment. I'm going to say some things tonight that will kind of blow your perception of maybe that definition of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to do that on purpose because I want you to look at things a little differently after my talk. So here's the quote. Neither our past or our present indicates our full potential, which is limitless. We need to learn from our past, live fully in the present, and look forward to the future. Heal and honor our past. That's important. And have the courage to embrace the future no matter what it may hold. I know there were people that were going to be here tonight that just lost their mother. And another person was going to be here tonight. Her mother's on her deathbed. So we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, right? So have the courage to handle our past, live fully in the present, and face the future. You also need to know that people are capable of greatness. And it's inside of each and every one of you. I get emotional when I look into people's eyes because I know they're capable of greatness. You need to know that. So where do you start? You start with really understanding who you are. I know that seems like a big job, but there's some things that you can connect to that will help you. Connect to your heart, first of all. Connect to your values. Connect to your passions. Connect to your essence. And that will help indicate a little bit, if you really connect to those things, who you are. And also focus on the what. What is most important to you in your life? What excites you? What can you not live without? And what difference do you want to make in the world? If you listen to the answers to these questions, it will connect you to who you are. So ask what? What's most important to me and to you? I'm going to read you a small part of a story in 100 Hearts. And it's about a lady named Martina. And she was a typical housewife, very happy being a housewife and very happy being a mother. And I think this story a lot of us can relate to. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it. Martina looked around her at her all too familiar room, and it struck her how beige everything was. The restlessness had been getting to her for almost a year. She was distracted by her thoughts. Maybe she should get another job. Maybe she should have another child. Maybe a new home. She realized she had lost herself somewhere along the way and was without her compass. She had a good life, a wonderful husband and children. The problem was the cloud front that moved into Martina's soul. This was something bone deep. She looked around her beige room again, and she felt very beige inside. Nothing about her life was meaningful. She needed to do something, anything, that would tell her if there was any pre-Martina family left before her family left inside of her. So she thought, I need to go find something that will connect me to this pre-Martina before my family. So she wanted to find something colorful, anything that would brighten up this beige feeling in this house, anything. So maybe it was going to be lime or purple, anything would help. So where do you think she went to find this thing? TJ Maxx, of course. So she went searching for the thing the universe had placed there for her. And she was looking around the store, and she was looking at clothes, she was looking at pillows, and nothing connected her to this thing that was calling her. And finally, she stumbled upon the sale rack. And there was a world globe, and Italy was staring at her, asking why she had never come. So long ago, she pledged her love to Italy and all that she believed it to be, but had never gone. To see it for herself was important to Martina, and she had found the thing, the globe. It was a necessary anchor affixed to the string that tethered her being to the world. Without it, the clouds would sweep her away, and it would rain in her soul forever. She then did something that would have never occurred to her before. She allowed herself to be important. So she left TJ Maxx with a huge smile on her face that she hadn't had on her face for a very long time. And she had to go pick up Cole and Savannah. So she's hurrying down the street, and she opens the van door, and Savannah and Cole jump in, and she says, "Ciao mi bambinis!" And Cole and Savannah just stood there for a full second. "Mom, you know a different language." "What language is that?" "Oh, mi bambinis, I'm so much cooler than you would ever imagine." So this is just a very small part of the story of Martina. So I'm sure that some of you have connected to some of the things that she was feeling. Sometime in your life. I know that I have. And so why I wanted to share this story is that Martina had the courage to really show her children what was important to her. And that took courage. So the first key to living your life to your full potential is courage. You have to have courage. And looking at all of you and women are the most courageous people I know. But you have to have courage. It takes courage greater than all others to examine your life with ruthless honesty, to actually accomplish your aspirations. But once you do this, you'll never go back. It will never stop. Because once you connect to who you really are and yourself, you'll never want to leave. And it takes a lot of courage. I'd like to read a few answers from one of the questions in my surveys, and that was the definition of courage. So here's just some of the answers. Courage is persevering in the face of diversity. Courage is standing by my heart and being true to myself. And courage is standing up for what is right. And courage is pushing past my comfort zones. And courage is facing your fear and feeling it and doing it anyway. So face it, feel it, do it anyway. So these are just a few. Find out what courage is for you, because the definition of courage is very different for everyone. For some people, it's just getting out of bed. So find out what courage is for you. So the second key is believing. What keeps us stuck is not believing. Don't believe the voice that tells you you can't. Believe the voice that tells you that you can be the best version of who you are. Don't believe everything that you think. And differentiate truth from fiction. Because there is truth and there is fiction. Another author that I really respect created a tool and a book to help people understand the difference in what they believe is true or false. And I don't know, some of you might have heard about her. It's Byron Katie, The Work. It's a very simple tool. And here's one of her quotes. The spell can be broken just by asking yourself, is what I'm believing true? How simple is that? Do we ever stop to ask that, or we just let our brain just keep going and we believe it? But the key is to connect to your heart and listen for the answer. If you're too connected up here and you're not connected up here, you might get the wrong answer. So belief is the second key. Okay, the third key, which we're going to go right into, last but not least, is permission. You need to give yourself permission. Because life, again, doesn't really give you a lot of permission. And why is that? Anybody want to comment? It's because most people are not living the best version of who they are. So it's very, very challenging to help support someone else in doing that and giving them the permission, because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Can all of you relate to this a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah, they might say it, but in general, you have to give yourself and you the permission, and you're the only one that can really do it. So I'm going to make it really easy for you. I have a permission slip for you. This is between you and yourself. No more excuses, right? You can take as many as you'd like. So I have these, and you can take them afterwards. So giving yourself permission is really, really important. So I've given you the 3 keys, but how do you stay on course with this? Sounds simple, right? Well, as a life coach, I realize that people get derailed all the time. They have great intentions, they have it all figured out, but then they get back into the real world and they get derailed. So what's really important is that you really understand that life is going to throw you off, so be prepared for that. And that's okay. It really is okay. So just know it, be prepared, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're not going to be the best version of yourself all the time. So that's all right. So be prepared. And secondly, I don't know about you, but I've been pretty hard on myself as a woman. Brutal at times. And, we're hard on ourselves. And I think that we all feel we can do so much, because we can. But we always want to be perfect and do it all. So be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. And the good news, there's good news in all this, is you've arrived the day you realize that you know the best version of yourself is inside of you, where it's always been waiting to be expressed. get a lot of arguments on this one. But I believe it with every fiber of my being. And I know it. It's almost like we forget. We think we have to be somewhere, do something, get a degree, have our kids, whatever it is as women, our careers, to be the best version of who we are. It's already there. You can relax. You've already arrived. You can relax and know that you've arrived. Just know that the best version of yourself is inside of you, where it's always been. And remember, the secret to living your full potential is that whenever you're faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, choose in favor of what is most important to you, your values, your passions, and your heart. I will guarantee everything will go right most of the time, and you will feel happy and you'll be fulfilled. So just remember that. So in review, know you're capable of greatness. Know that the best version of yourself is inside of you, where it's always been, waiting to be expressed. Focus on the what. What is most important to you? And then have courage, because standing up for who you are is the most courageous act in the world. So find your courage. You have to believe and challenge the thoughts that tell you anything different. Challenge those thoughts. Don't believe everything you think. I'd love that. So you can give yourself permission, and only you. Starting tonight, right? Mm-hmm. All right. And then lastly, create a community of women that will support you. Start right here with this group of women, because these are awesome women here. And I get emotional seeing you, because in my dream, I would never have known that I would meet so many incredible women and have these women in my life. And you're all inspiration to me on a daily basis. Also, 100 Hearts. It's a community of women. You'll laugh with them and cry with them, and they'll lead you to your own courage that you demonstrate on a daily basis. So this is another tool for you. So find your community. Let's start here in this room. Let's start with these people. Let's start right now. Let's start in Park City. And I want to start changing the world one person at a time. And why is this so important? Why is it important for us to do this? Because we need you, and you do make a difference in this world. Each of us do. We need you to show up and be your best version of yourself, because the world needs you, particularly right now. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to share a quote from a woman who has changed the world. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less without that drop. Let me say that again. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less without that drop. Mm-hmm. Mother Teresa, one of my favorites. So, who's ready to start right now in this moment and making a difference? And I really would like to make a difference starting with you in changing the world. Okay. Excellent. All right. Your permission slips are right here. And thank you so much for being here. Good job.